What's up, everybody? This is Attorney Dan Winnigan, and I want to talk a little bit about wills and trusts and what are trustees and what are executors, and can these be the same person? And so in a more comprehensive estate plan, there is a revocable living trust, and there is the pour over will. Now, what the pour over will does is that things that are not in the name of the trust are now poured into the trust at the time of death and to be distributed in accordance to the trust. Now, that key idea here is to get the things that are not inside the trust under 150,000, so you can go do the small estate affidavit. Actually, the key is to not have everything inside of your estate that is probatable. If it's 150,000, then you can still go through small estates affidavit, but there's still more work. Some financial institutions get really picky, and so if you rather kind of avoid all that headache, make sure you set up your plan properly so that you don't have to go through all that. But how pour over will works with a living trust is that at the time of death, the assets that are not in the trust are now poured over into the trust and distributed in accordance to the terms of the trust. There's still possibly a probate process, just depending on the value of those items that are outside of the trust. Now, there's two key people titles that are manage this process after you pass away. One are executors, which are for the pour over will, and then the trustees, which are for your living trust. And they kind of do the same thing in each of their respective areas. So for the will, they, generally speaking, in the pour over situation, they're responsible for administering the terms of the will, which is to put the items into the trust and transferring those items to be distributed. And there's some other things, but that's probably the biggest thing in this particular scenario. And for trustees, they're responsible for administering the terms of trust. So who gets what, taking care of the paperwork, working with the attorneys for the trust administration. And so obviously you want these people to be responsible and responsive and timely and organized. Now, can these people be this? Can the same person occupy these two positions? And the answer is yes. This is quite common. For the most part, it's sometimes preferred because it's easier to do the trust administration and distribution of assets and things like that when there's only one person involved. If you have two people involved in these two positions, sure, if they work well together, then things can get done efficiently and in a timely manner. But the issue comes in when these two people don't get along, and now this whole process is dragged out. So these people, again, can be the same people. You can have the same trustee be the executor in your pour over will. It's a very common scenario, and for efficiency purposes, it's a good idea. But certainly, above all else, pick people that you trust, who are efficient, organized, and can work in a timely manner, and they'll make things smooth for you. All right, this is Dan talking about wills and trusts, trustees and executors, pour over wills, and revocable living trust, and who can be have those titles. All right, this is Dan. Talk to you soon. Bye.